exactly following them. They were adding to what they said. In many aspects, they were differing from those ideas. So, coming to the religion aspect of the issue, Iranians, they became Shiites, but majority of them, they were Ismailites, you know. You heard of Ismailis. They were following 6 imams. Because of these 12, which you know the 12 was never there, 11 I should say, the 6th imam is called Imam Sadiq, had a child, Ismail name, but somehow he wasn't acting properly. So the imam had to change him, and has his other son Musa, Moses, meaning Moses. He became the successor. The 7th imam is called Moses. This is an Islamic, it's not the Jewish Moses. He's an imam of the Islam. His name is Moses, Moses the Kadhim. He became in charge and Ismail was gone. But then Ismail created his own sect, added again to the situations. And from there, Ismailis, they developed different ideas that still exist. And they think that, no, imams are not specific to 11 or 12 or whatnot. And we'll have to continue. So one leader is gone, the next one comes in. Something similar to the Jewish religion, where always after one prophet, another one comes. Up and until now, this Aga Khan, who is the leader, the spiritual leader of the Ismailis right now in France, you heard of him. But the real Shiites, which are the 11th or 12th Imam, the 12th is, according to them, hidden, the 11th is there, they did not follow a particular person because they were enriched with a lot of literature. Sunnis, they had to put up with Quran and the writing of Muhammad, whereas Shiites have at least 100, more than 100 different volumes of all their Imams added to it. So they were very rich. And it was mostly the place in Iran where the Iranians were. So you could see that the Sunni sect, the science of religion, let's say, the knowledge, the department of religion, and the Sunnis, they start with, we call them muhaddisin, those who narrate the writing of Muhammad, separate from Quran. And the Sunnis, they have 6 of them. I think it's called Imam Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, and Abu Dawood, and there's another one. So there are 6 books in the Sunni sects, all narrations from the word of Muhammad. That's the part 1. And besides that, their leadership ended up coming to these muftis, those who came and understood these writings and then decreed about the things that was not in the writing. As I said, there's a huge one, like Imam Malik, Hanbali, Shafi'i, and so on. It's 4 of them. But the Persians or Shiites, they didn't have these doctors of the faith, these muftis and whatnot. They had their own guys that they narrate all these writings, not just from Muhammad, from all other imams. That would be Sheikh Mufid, Tusi, Ibn Shazan, and Kulaini. His famous book is called Kafi. They were the sources for the Shiites, and they did not follow a particular leader, just their books as the imam. And their muftis were not muftis, really. They know all of this is writing in a book. And this was going on for quite some times. But because of this, you know, convolutions, I should say, that's the only word, convoluted situation that was existing. Sunnis are saying something else, you know, and the Shiites are something else, and then the Sunnis are many sects and this and that. Among the Shiites, I should say mostly, and the Iranian Shiites, they started a sect called Sufis. Biruni says Sufi means philosopher, means to love philosophy. Sufi, that's it. Originally, they say. Some write it differently, and they say that no, it comes from the word purity. but I'll go with what Biruni says, Sufi. And they came in trying to solve the problem. Some of them were seriously not militant, but they were at a point that they knew the caliphate that was ruling over Iran even at that time, all Sunnis, that they were wrong. And they raised against those, and they brought their new doctrine. The most famous of them is Hallaj. Louis Massimien of France have written a very good book, The Messiah of the East. This Hallaj claimed that he is the manifestation of God, and of course the Caliph gets him and kill him and cut him into pieces. His martyrdom has affected all the writers. I would say all the writers in Iran. Everyone has mentioned his name because he was martyred that way. And there were others, such as Attar, who comes after Hallaj, and he was a great, writer again in the Sufism. Then he tried to say that, well, listen, he kind of mingles guardianship and caliphate all together. And he goes and he says, for example, as one of his books, the first one is Abu Bakr, and the second was Omar, and the third one is Uthman, and the fourth one is Ali. So far, this is the Sunni sect, but he just adds, and he says, the fifth one is Hassan. Now this is Shiites Imam, second Imam of the Shiites. He calls him the fifth Caliph of the Islam. And then Hussein, the sixth, and he goes on. All of these things could not exactly clarify the issue, and Muslims, they could not get together on this, especially Iranians. They had a lot of hatred towards the Arabs on original issues of attacking them and raping their wives and this and that, trying to make the entire nation of Iran Arabs. Ironically, and very ironically, the only friend that the Iranians they had, they were the 11th Imam from the Saudi Arabia, from the Mecca, among the Arabs. The true successors of Muhammad, they were against these invasions of the Arabs of Iran, and many of them, they married Persian wives. So these Imams, many of them have Persian bloods in them. And some of them actually spoke Persians and used to write in Persians. And the 8th Imam actually died in Iran. So that way, they saved the culture of Iran. That's why Iranians, they don't speak Arabic, such like Syria or Iraq or Sudan or Egypt or Morocco. Muslims, of the early Muslims, they attack all of those nations. Basically, they eradicated their males and raped their wives. And they had new children. They were all Arabs and speaking Arab and following the religion of their fathers. But in Iran, it did not happen, because this 11 Imam is starting from Ali to the last one is Hassan. They were opposing the Muslims, mainstream Islam's Muslims, and they created these Shiite sects. That's what they call them. So, going back to this Sufi business, so Sufis, they said, we're not going to understand all of these things. Even Hafez, he says that all the 72 sects of Islam's, just a number to say there were 72 sects. He says all of them, they did not understand the truth, and they went into imaginations and fantasy and whatnot. Many of them. So they were thinking that, okay, we essentially believe in Muhammad, in Islam, but even speaking of the Imams, they would agree that they were great individuals, no doubt, but they were kind of feeling independent of it, and they wanted to create a different way in being a Muslims, not following anything but Muhammad as a prophet of God. They would go so far even they say that Quran even was the book of the time. We are here today. They would see themselves as a successor of Muhammad to bring new stuff. And they were calling themselves manifestation of God. They would announce that they are God. God is in them. and a few of them that were killed by the caliphs at the time. So the event that happens in Iran, in Islam I should say, so as I mentioned, the successors, the true successor of Muhammad, which is Imam Ali, came into dispute. They didn't accept him. And the first one is Abu Bakr and Omar, and then Osman comes. And the Arabs, they finally said, okay, Ali was the youngest, but now he's old enough, we're going to accept him as one of the caliphs. But by then it was too late, because when he came into power, the three previous ones, they caused a lot of problem, including the last one, Osman, had his cousins to become the governor of Syria at that time. They used to call it Sham. Syria would be called Sham. And this governor of Sham raised against the actual elected caliphs, which is Ali. And he said to him, you're not caliph, I am the caliph. They're an estate, a province, basically, the governor, sort of the federal government. Ali went to fight with him to stop him, but the thing went haywire because Ali wanted to protect as much as he could Iranians. They used to call him a foreigner. You're outside of Arab. You don't have Arab blood because he was protecting Iranians. They used to call him Mustarab, not Arab. Mustarab means Arab immigrant. So originally, your father was Ismail or whoever, you came to Arabia, you're not an Arab. And they would go on the pulpit, they swore at his name, blasphemizing him, all kind of things. And this event goes on, as I said, that he was martyred, then his son, then the second son, and then the second son, Imam Hussein, died. Muslims in Iran, which forcefully